But yes, that's what we have.
But you're also missing me in my very festive Santa Claus hat. Maybe that's why it won't work. Maybe it saw me and it's like, yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, no, we're just gonna go ahead and make sure your stuff doesn't work today. Yeah,
it's so weird.
Yeah.
I allowed the permissions and everything, and it still went bonkers. Do me a favor during this break. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll start taking phone calls. Do me a favor during the break. Send me another link just for the hell of it.
10-4.
Let's see how that works. All right, we get a break. We will come back with more. You might not be able to see me, but you certainly can hear me. 256-576-4977. Let's get this conversation going right here on the Thom Abraham Show. Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, Invisicook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Spring Showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash, and the freezer's free, and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed.
Tom Luginbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
You'll love the expanded wine selection at Liquor Express. From special occasion to everyday table wines, they've got what you need. Meet your friends at the largest tap wall in Alabama with 105 rotating selections. Then take home a growler full of your favorite or choose from our 1,000 canned or bottled beers. Need help stocking your bar or planning your party? Liquor Express has a knowledgeable, professional in-house staff that can assist you with anything from your bar to the planning of your special event. Visit liquorexpress.net for tasting specials, giveaways, and classes.
Thom Abraham Show. Joe, we ought to go with Christmas music. You didn't get the memo, right? We ought to go with Christmas music today.
Well, the Christmas music I have in is kind of not the Thom Abraham style. So that's why I thought.
What do you mean it's not the kind of? We don't have cheesy Christmas music?
I mean, I'm sure it's in there somewhere, but I've added like a lot of cool Christmas music. Like Run DMC and those types of those. Yeah.
Well, I actually like the Run DMC one. That one's
yeah, Christmas and Hollis.
Not bad. But,
yes, I've got that.
I don't. Yeah, I like it.
Woo! Somebody done been to the Walmart.
Man, that's just the stuff I got for Christmas.
Well, you cleaned up. What'd you get?
5 flannel shirts. 4 big mud tires, 3 shotgun shells, 2 hunting dogs, and some parts to a Mustang GT.
You fool, you got Jeff first 12 days to Christmas.
I know that. I got it covered. Look over in the corner.
That's yours, too?
Yeah, 12 pack of Bud, 11 wrestling tickets, 10 of Copenhagen, 9 years probation, 8 table dancers, 7 packs of Red Man, 6 cans of Spam, 5 flannel shirts, 4 big mud tires, 3 shotgun shells, 2 hunting dogs, and some parts to a Mustang GT.
I mean, that's just a classic, Joe. That's just an all-time classic, isn't it?
Yeah, see, no, I'm actually like, this is the stuff that I've added in here.
Kool-Aid Man, you ready for Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, and that's not Tom Abraham's style.
No, it's not. It's not. You're right. No, I mean, I'm like a little Sinatra and a little Burl Ives and
Like this?
Classic. Yeah, a little bit.
Oh man. Okay, well now that causes people to wreck.
Not quite there. Not quite there, but Bob Seger's Little Drummer Boy. I mean, that's a good one there. You know, I thought that's always strong. You know, and then there's always. Yeah, I mean, that's,
no,
that's,
I can tell you're like,
there's
yeah, no, that's not it.
Yeah, no. Then there's always the classics. You know,
It's beginning to look like we'd old Christmas.
there we go.
Everywhere you go.
You know what I'm talking about? Talking about the classics. You know.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting for you to play one.
Yeah. Now, let me get to the lines here. I'm really frustrated by this thing. I might have to reboot the whole computer and see if something different happens. I mean, I've rebooted the browser. I apologize to those of you watching WZZN TV because I know you get a kick out of seeing me. Maybe not. But I don't know what it's doing. I'm doing all the things that it says to do and put the camera on and you know, I just don't know. And I have an external camera, Joe.
Is that better for you? This?
Let's see. It's not bad. Yeah.
Okay. Just
That's
we're
not
just
bad.
testing some things out.
Yeah, that one's not bad. Yeah, you know what my problem is lately? I'm going to be totally brutally honest with you, right? You know how I've told you in the past that the wife and I are very much into the cheesy Hallmark Christmas movies. So the last 2 that we tried to watch, okay, I turn on the Hallmark cheesy Christmas Hallmark movie, right? I mean, you could be watching this with your grandkids, whatever. We're going to watch one tomorrow night with the kids that are staying over for Christmas Eve and stuff. And Joe, you would think by watching a Hallmark Christmas movie at this point in time, at any particular one, that half our society is gay. You would think half is gay. Because we're watching a Hallmark Christmas movie. And there were 4 couples in the Hallmark Christmas movie. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just getting back to the Christmas music. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Just getting back to the Christmas music, you know.
4 couples in the movie, and 2 of them are gay. And it's like, well, do you want to come over and spend it with my boyfriend? And then the girl's like, we were thinking that, I went out with her back in high school. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? 4% of our society, 4%, and 50% of the couples on a Hallmark Christmas movie were gay. Gosh. I watch a wholesome Christmas movie.
It's the best time of the year.
Oh, I like this one.
I
That's a
don't
good
know
one.
if there'll be snow, but have a cup of cheer.
We're just sampling, just sampling,
sampling.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
got some
And that
sampling
Tom
to do.
Abraham rant you can hear over on Talk Radio WZZN HD2 if you'd like to download the app.
I don't know what's going on with this thing. All right, let me talk to Wolverine Dan. Wolverine Dan, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, I just got done knocking down some chicken wings. Actually, pretty good.
Yeah.
So, with that said, a couple things. First off, best Merry Christmas to everybody at the station there. You guys do a great job. All the shows are good. And also, everybody, listeners out there, Merry Christmas. Be safe, have a good time, and make sure you get someone to give you a drive if you have too much to drink. Also, congratulations to Bama Brad. How about that, huh? Now, what's great about this is that he's very competitive, and he's good. He's a good golfer. And what's great about it is that, Larry, Badger Larry, myself, which is Natty Danny Thom until the game's played. Yeah. And then Bama Brad, we play golf together. And, if you really think about it, through all the years, all the trifectas that I've won, and Larry's won, and the Master Fectas, and now Bama Brad, we own this show when it comes to prizes. You know that?
I wouldn't quite say that, but you've done pretty well over the years, yeah. I mean, you got to be in it to win it, and, and you guys are in it a lot, which is great. And so, it's a tremendous opportunity.
Well, in it to win it. We'll talk about that right now. You know what? I've decided, if it's okay with the powers that be in the NCAA, can we switch the venue to the Bama-Michigan game up north, please? It seems to me your SEC and the ACC, which is predominantly warm weather teams, cannot play big boy football up north.
Yeah, well, go ahead and try and come down to the Dirty South in September in a mid-afternoon game and see how you do with that. You guys would be the Big Ten teams would be melting. They'd be melting out there if they try to do that.
It's called hydrating. It's real easy. I've played in and trust me, when it's cold
anytime
you played in it and you get hit, Tom, you feel like you're breaking, you're cracking from the toes all in the skull. It's painful.
Yeah. I don't think that was a factor in the in the Tennessee game. I don't think it was a factor in the Tennessee game.
Hey, I want to come down and play down south. I got no problem with that. I want us to come down and play down south.
Yeah.
Okay? But I'm telling you right now, it's a lot harder in the cold winter. Y'all need to come back up to Michigan.
What happened when Texas? What happened when Texas went to Michigan?
Huh?
What happened when Texas went to Michigan and when Alabama went to Wisconsin? Oh, okay.
Anyway. All right, so let's move on to the real team. I still, to this day, I don't think people really give this Detroit Lions team any respect. I think this is a real deal, plug and play.
I disagree with that. I think a lot of people are respecting them.
The defense is devastated. We'll plug in players off our practice squads because we got great coaching, which is going to leave us this year. And they just show up, they buy into the program like every other defensive player that got hurt this year for us. And we're getting Montgomery back for the playoffs, okay? And Hutch has already said he's going to play in the Super Bowl if we get there. And Thom, with Jalen Hurts, a la Alabama player, got the concussion. He's out of the game. They lost the game to Washington. And then what's going to happen this weekend, Mike, Badger Larry's Packers is going to beat the Vikings. And then we're going to beat the 49ers, okay? And then we come back to Motor City, and the Vikings got to play us at our place. So
it's over then. No, it's over. It's over then. I mean, if the Packers beat the Vikings and you beat the 49ers, then it's over because you have the tiebreaker in that. I believe in the. I think you have the tiebreaker in the division, so I think it would be over at that point in time. They have to beat you. If you both win this week, then you play for the division championship. And the real travesty of that whole thing is the fact that either the Vikings or the Lions would finish 14-3, and you're going to have to play in the first week of the playoffs at either Tampa Bay or Atlanta, teams that are going to have 7 or 8 losses. And you're going to have to go on the road and play those people, even though you got the second best record in all of football. And that's tough, man.
We've set the record for the Detroit Lions. 13 wins, never been done. This is a generational football team, Thom. We're hitting all the marks, okay? I got my cash, my tickets right by my bedside in my nightstand. I get up every morning looking at it to see glorious cash in my hands. I cannot wait to cash this check in. All right? So with that said, again, Bama Brad, congratulations. He's a good guy. He's a big Bama fan. And he told me, he says, you guys don't want to play us up north. That's what he said. So I'll let you go. I'll talk to you later.
I appreciate you. Bama Brad just hit the text window. Thank you to the Tom Abraham Show and 97.7 from Bama Brad. You're welcome. And thank you for being so good at it. Thank you for getting the win. Look, I'm not going down that path of, this is the SEC can't go north in the wintertime. Why? Because one game? We're going to make all of this assumption based on one game.
What's Indiana's
Tennessee.
Excuse?
Well, here's the thing. Indiana, SMU, and Clemson, they never beat anybody all season long anyway. So it's like, that's, I think, a different animal. Ohio State played very well and outclassed Tennessee in every step of that game. It was surprising how good that Ohio State was able to do against the Tennessee defensive line, which we thought would dominate a little bit. If anything, it was the other way around. Nico, he was running for his life half the time. He never got any help. I mean, Ohio State was all over him. They were all over him. But we're going to use that one game to make a general determination that an SEC team can't go north and win a football game? I mean, come on. And I don't see Ohio State or Michigan going to, Mississippi or Alabama or Florida or Georgia and playing outdoors in the beginning of the year. I don't see that happening. I don't see them going to play Texas A&M in at the beginning of the season, or going to LSU and playing down there in that heat and humidity. I mean, it's, I don't think that's the difference. The thing is that what happened with Indiana and SMU and even Clemson, even though Clemson made a little bit of a run, that what happened with those teams was so predictable. It was so predictable. And it was predictable based on them being in the tournament and what they did during the regular season. And you kind of knew that it was going to happen. All right, phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. That'll get you in. Now we get, we got two games this week, or not this week, but next, on New Year's Day. We get two games on New Year's Day that look like cupcake games, that have double-digit lines. I mean, seriously. You look at Texas is a 14-point favorite over Arizona State in the Peach Bowl. Penn State is a 10.5-point favorite over Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl. Now, the other two games, right now, Ohio State is a 2.5-point favorite over Oregon in the Rose Bowl, which is a little bit surprising to me. And Georgia is a 1.5. Georgia with a backup quarterback is a 1.5-point favorite over Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl. I still think that there's an excellent chance. In fact, right now it's the chalk. I still think, we're going to have two SEC and two Big Ten teams in the Final Four. And it's going to be like, okay, thanks for everybody else for playing. It's going to be two SEC teams and then what happens? We'll see. Maybe there'll be two Big Ten teams in a national championship. I mean, right now, according to the chalk, you could have a rematch of the Big Ten championship game for the national championship. You could have a rematch of the SEC championship game for the national championship. Those are distinct possibilities. But there's still a lot of football left to be played, as they say. There's still a lot of ball to play there. As for the Lions, the Vikings, and what's going on there, I mean, both teams with relative. The Lions go to the 49ers, who have actually mailed it in now. So they but it's a trip. It's outdoors. It's one of only 3 or 4 games all season long that Detroit will play outside. So they go to the 49ers, and the Vikings host the Packers, who are pretty much locked into a wild card. And they will be locked in if they beat the Saints at home tonight. So if both win, it's the Vikings at the Lions for the division on the final week of the regular season. And the loser will be 14-3 and play a first-round playoff game at the Falcons or the Rams, who would have 7 or 8 losses. Bucks. The Falcons are back in front in the NFC South, tied with the Bucks. But they have the tiebreaker due to the season sweep of Tampa Bay. The only way either of those teams get into playoffs is by winning the division. And Tampa has a better path, to be honest with you. They got 2 games left at home against the Panthers and the Saints, while the Falcons have to go to Washington this week, which had a stunning win. Like, what are they, the Cardiac Commodores now? Commanders, whatever the hell they are. The Cardiac Commanders. So the Falcons have to go there. Then they finish at home against Carolina. By the way, who's suddenly a pain in the butt themselves, knocking the Cardinals out of the playoff yesterday. In the meantime, there's a spirited battle going on for the number 1 pick in the draft, with 5 AFC teams all sitting at 3-12, all behind the Giants, who are a miserable 2-13. This is a tank job of epic proportions. And to be honest, 4 of those 6 teams need a quarterback, and I am including the Tennessee Titans in that, Joe, right? I mean, if the Tennessee Titans somehow, they're going to end up with a top 5 pick, a top 2 pick, a top 3 pick, something like that. I mean, if you're the Titans, I know you just drafted Will Levis, and right before that you drafted Malik Willis. But, I mean, if you're the Titans, you do it again, right? I mean, are you not taking a quarterback? If you're in the top 3 picks in the draft, are you going to take a quarterback or not?
Well, and you don't even have to be potentially in the top 3, because at the moment you have New York there. So it's either you need to either be 1 or like 5, one of the two, and you can get one of the 2 quarterbacks that are going to be in the draft unless you want to trade up.
I think 1 or 4.
Well,
I think there's only 2 teams that don't need a quarterback. The only 2 teams that won't draft a quarterback is Jacksonville and New England. Right?
Yes.
I think Jacksonville and New England. All right. But otherwise, everybody else, if you're any of those other teams, all right, you're drafting a quarterback.
Yeah, and
so I think you have to be in the top 4.
Yeah, top 4, because I think that's where Tennessee is right now, is the top 4. And if the Giants, okay, you feel like they're going to probably go with Sanders, so now your attention would then turn to Cam Ward, and if he is worth it. If he's worth doing that. If not, then you trade back.
So wait a minute. So you take Cam Ward over Shadur Sanders?
No. If Titans have a shot at Shadur, then I'm going with Sanders. But that's what I'm saying is the Giants are going to take him number 1 overall. So
you're saying that the next one up would be Cam?
Yeah, next quarterback is going to be Cam next. And then you have to decide if he's worth it, or do you want to trade back, get offensive line help, and go with a different quarterback later on in the draft. But if you have the opportunity for Shadur, you go for Shadur.
It's going to be in a see, here's the thing. I don't think any of these guys are a lock or a sure thing. I mean, yeah, Shadur might end up being the first quarterback picked or the first pick overall. I don't know that any of them are a lock to be great. I think that Travis Hunter is going to be an outstanding NFL player. But I sit here and I can't tell you for a fact that, there's no Joe Burrow on the board. I'm not seeing that kind of a guy on the board.
No, and now what you also need to do is see if there's going to be a quarterback in free agency that you may want to go get, or if there's a team that's willing to, say, a New York or possibly even Jacksonville wouldn't do it, but even if New England, like if they would be willing to trade for Will Levis and take the pick. That's going to be then you can swap picks. Like those are the other discussions you have, but there's not even any amazing offensive tackles in this draft, because every offensive tackle right now is being actually projected to be a guard in the NFL. So are you going to spend the top 4 picks on a guard?
And I think you can get a guy, you're liable to draft a guy on any of these teams, liable to be able to draft a guy in the second round like a Kyle McCord.
And that's what you did with Sweat. I mean, you drafted Sweat.
He ends up being and he ends up being a stud. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. The top 3 quarterbacks on the board right now by most are being listed as Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, one or the other, and then Jalen Milroe. And I don't like Milroe in the NFL.
Oh, heavens no. You already have an issue with a quarterback that can't make decisions. You don't need another one.
Let me get Grumpy in here before the break. Grumpy, welcome to the show. How are you?
You off for the holiday season. I didn't even know there was a show today.
Yeah, no, we got one today and one next Monday, and then we're off the rest of this week, and then we'll be back on Thursday the 2nd. after next Monday's show. Yeah.
Well, I guess I know why Tennessee was paying 21 to make the final game, man. I did not see that one coming.
No, I didn't. My son, one of my sons had contacted me earlier that day, and he says, "Is it still 7.5?" I said, "No, it's now 7." He said, "All right, if it gets back to 7.5, I'd like to put a Benjamin on it at 7.5." So I texted him after the game. I said, "I saved you the money because the line never got to 26.5."
Yeah. Yeah, you're a good dad. I would have told him it went to 7.5, and I put the bet down, and he owes me $100.
Myself.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I got a two-part question, man. Which of the college games in the playoffs that just went by, which game did you enjoy the most? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much enjoyment did you get out of it?
The Texas Clemson game was about a 4. And the rest of them were about a 3.
Yeah, see what I mean?
They were just awful. Yeah.
It would be. Is Beck going to play for Georgia?
No, he's probably out for the entire playoff. Not just this week, not just the Sugar Bowl, but right now they're saying they don't think he'll play at all.
Oh, okay.
Here's a legit question. It's the end of September, right? It's the end of September. Texas is playing Arizona State. Penn State's playing Boise State. Are you really watching those games? I mean, do you even care? I mean, they almost feel cupcakey, right? Don't they feel now? Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oregon. That's a thing. But those other two games, they feel cupcakey, and we're in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'd like to see what the numbers are. If they got what they wanted and more people are going to tune in. I'd compare this year's numbers to next year's numbers next week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, man. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right. See. Yeah, call your friends. Tell them we're on. We get a break. We'll come back. Maybe I can figure out this whole camera situation. I've rebooted the entire computer now. So we'll give that a shot when we come back. It's the Thom Abraham Show. Back with more in a moment.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Brought to you by G-Bank. Earn cashback rewards on every eligible gaming transaction. VSiN.com/Gbank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply.
NFL Week 15 will start on Thursday night when the San Francisco 49ers take on the LA Rams at Levi's Stadium. The Niners are 6-7, and they will continue the rest of the season without running back Christian McCaffrey, while the Rams have won 6 of their last 8, got healthy, and now it's 7-6. One game back of Seattle for the division lead. San Francisco has dropped 3 of 4. The 49ers are a 3-point home favorite, -105 against the spread. The Rams getting the 3 points are -115. On the money line, Los Angeles is at +130. San Francisco -150 with the over-under sitting at 49.5. For VSiN.com, I'm Tony Desiri, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luginbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Bob Baumhauer here. Are you out of ideas for those stocking stuffers? Our selection of delicious signature sauces make great stocking stuffers for that chef of the house. Kick up your favorite holiday dish with our legendary hot sauce. If you enjoy our char-grilled black and white chicken, then grab a bottle of our fabulous legendary white barbecue sauce. Would you like to have a Bam Bam shrimp on your holiday menu? That's easy. Just pick up a bottle of Baumhauer's Thai sweet chili sauce. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, Invisicook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Spring Showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash, and the freezer's free, and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Plenty of sunshine expected for this Monday all across the area. High temperatures will be warming into the low 50s for the afternoon. Heading into our Monday night, temperatures drop to near freezing. Once again, expect lows in the lower 30s. We'll warm up into the upper 50s for our Tuesday, continuing to see a partly sunny sky. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
There's the phone and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many, many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Glad that you are with us. Tom Luginbill is coming up in hour number 2 at about 1:15 or so. So we'll have a short segment at the top of the hour. And then we will jump in with Lugs. All right, so yesterday, when was it? Saturday. I guess it was Saturday. Some comedian who I have never heard of, by the way, Shane Gillis. Who the hell is Shane Gillis? And when did he become funny? Is he somebody? Joe, do you know who Shane Gillis is? I mean, do you?
Yeah, he's on. He's become big over probably the last 6 months, 7 months, and I've really gotten to know. The show Tires that is on Netflix is where I saw him for the first time. But he is he's in a lot of commercials now. Like, it's basically a blitz with him because he's kind of become big over the last few months. Budweiser commercials, Bud Light commercials, things like that.
By the way, the kid from Nashville, too, that just had that special, I had him on my show when I was up there. He's a nice guy. Brigance. What's his name? Brigance?
Nate
You know what I'm
Bargatze.
talking about, right? Nate Bargatze. He's a good guy. He's a nice guy and stuff. I don't find him very funny. I mean, is that a me thing? Because I don't really – I know he's like hot as hot can be right now. I don't find the guy very funny.
Well, and it's just his humor probably just doesn't mesh with you. I mean, again, I see some of his stuff and I think it's okay, but then there's some of his stuff is hilarious, like with the skit they did on SNL where he's playing George Washington and they're naming everything. And, you know, that skit is absolutely hilarious that he did, and that was part of his Saturday Night Live special. But it's just his style, just his joke style, and what he jokes about may not be your taste.
So the Shane Gillis, he goes on the pregame show. He's a Notre Dame guy, I guess. And he goes on the pregame show, and he had said beforehand, off the set itself, but, talking with Pat McAfee and those guys, he said, this feels different. It feels like we can win it. There's a parity. Now that everybody can pay their players, Notre Dame has a shot. It's not just the SEC. It's not Coach Saban. So Saban wasn't present when Gillis made those comments. So they get on the set, all right, and McAfee backs the bus right over Shane Gillis and said, well, you called him a cheater earlier, right? And this exchange takes place, which was kind of uncomfortable.
You called him a cheater earlier.
I was just joking around. I don't think the SEC paid players ever.
Period.
I'm joking. Is this not a fun show?
No.
Serious show?
Serious football.
Alabama Jones is very serious.
No, I'm not serious.
Get the whip, Indy.
I do believe in integrity. I always tried to run the program that way so players had a better chance to be successful in life.
I agree.
We make more money in the NFL than any other school, 61 players in the league. That was how we cheated. We developed players.
They pretty much told him where to get off. I don't know if you saw that live, Joe. That was uncomfortable. It was a little bit uncomfortable. Saban was like, I'll come across this table. I mean, that was not something that he wanted to joke about.
Oh, no. I've had friends before that asked him a question about something he wasn't a fan of, and you could feel their soul just leaving their body. That was kind of like Shane was going, oh, crap, like, what did I just step into right now? Like, I thought we were all joking around, and now I've actually got to – he wasn't expecting it to go left like that.
So when Mac Brown was briefly out of college football, Nick Saban became the oldest coach in all of college football. This is when he was like, I don't know, 64, 65, 66, somewhere in there. And he's sitting down in front of me. Right? And we're chatting on the air. And I said to him, so what's it like to know that you're the oldest coach in all of college football right now? And I got a freaking look. Now, Saban's like 5 foot nothing and weighs like 150 nothing. And I'm 100 pounds heavier than him. And I felt like a little mini person, a little tiny little miniature person thing. That's what I felt like. I mean, he just bore a hole. And it happened to me one other time. It happened with Pat Summit. Pat Summit is sitting with me at Belmont, as I think was where we were at. They were doing the Vols caravan thing. And so I got Pat Summit sitting with me and Philip Fulmer sitting with me. And we come back out of break knowing that we're going to have Pat Summit. And Schaefer plays a parody song that I had done that was to the tune of Rocky Top, was The Clock Never Runs Out on Rocky Top till Pat Summit says it runs out. And it was after a game against Rutgers where, the girl took the inbound pass and she made three moves. There was 1 second left on the clock. And they're playing Rutgers and they inbound the ball to, the Vols are down by a point. They inbound the ball to the girl on the Vols. She makes 1, 2, 3 head fakes, makes a big man step, and then puts the ball up. The clock never started. And then the clock runs out when the ball goes through the hoop. And so I had done this parody song to how the clock never stops on Rocky Top until Pat Summit says the clock will stop. So Schaefer bumps me back with it while she's sitting next to me. You should see the look she gave me. Oh, my gosh. Unbelievable. All right, where am I on breaks? I'm so screwed up with this WZZN TV feed, playing with that. I completely lost track of where I'm at. Am I good right until the music right now?
You just went through one like you're Derrick Henry on an offensive line. So, no, you're good. Just, you can just keep rolling for about another minute. No, you're fine.
So the music's going to hit?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't think I owed you another one. I thought I was caught up, but maybe not. So coming up at the top of the hour, open lines. So if you want to jump in, you can jump in. What are you looking forward to? Are you looking forward to these next 4 games? Is there any chance of an upset from Boise State or Arizona State? Or are we just going through the motions? Does it almost feel unfair? Like Texas and Penn State, just go ahead and pencil them in to the Final Four. They're in, okay? The people that have to battle are Ohio State and Oregon and Notre Dame and Georgia, which in a way seems kind of unfair. I mean, how did Texas and Penn State, who are both at-large teams in this tournament, how is it that they got to bust a hump to move on to the Final Four? Doesn't even seem right. All right, you want to get in on that? You can get on it. We lost an all-time great in baseball. And I got another baseball note that I might drop in there. Just kind of cover topics here. On a Reaction Monday, Top 10 Tuesday, Hump Day, Beat the Big Dog Thursday, and Football Friday all rolled into one day. Right here on the Thom Abraham Show. Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, Invisicook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Springs showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash, and the freezer's free, and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-Sparky.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
This is SportsCenter.
Good morning, I'm Doug Brown. Monday Night Football caps off NFL Week 16. The 10-4 Packers host the 5-9 Saints at Lambeau Field. Green Bay clinches a playoff spot with the win. 8 Eastern for the coverage on ESPN and ABC. Shohei Ohtani of the Dodgers wins the Associated Press Male Athlete of the Year award for the third time in 4 years. Only Lance Armstrong, LeBron James, and Tiger Woods have won the award 4 times. Former Georgia Tech wideout Eric Singleton Jr. transfers to Auburn. He's ESPN's top-rated receiver in the transfer portal. We've got a bowl doubleheader kicking off right now on ESPN. First, the Myrtle Beach Bowl, and that'll be followed by the famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? My phone rings in my office.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're the ones who take your call.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back on number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. So glad that you are with us today on our only show of the week. And, Grumpy was saying earlier, he didn't even know we had a show today. Well, we tried to get the word out that we did have a show today. We'll have one today and one next Monday. We are off the rest of the week with the Christmas week holiday. And then, of course, we'll be off New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And then, of course, coming up on Friday and Saturday, we have the Huntsville Classic coming to you on the Zone. So those of you that are listening on the Zone will get the Huntsville Classic on Friday and Saturday. We got bowl games going on. We got NFL football going on Christmas Day. This is all on the Zone. All kinds of things that are going on between now and then. We'll be back on Monday, the 30th, and we will set you up for not only Alabama and Michigan, but we'll also set you up for the rest of the bowl games and, of course, the Big Four for the semifinals, the game coming, or the quarterfinals, the games coming up on New Year's Eve, and the 3 games that are coming up on New Year's Day. So we'll get you up to snuff on all of that. Now, those of you that are watching on WZZN TV, I am there now, I believe. I don't know, to be totally honest with you. I connected to it through a different computer, through the desktop computer is where I connected on that one. But that computer doesn't have the horsepower. Is that coming in and going out, Joe? Because if it is, I'm just going to kill it. I don't know if that one's coming in and going out.
But you look like Santa.
I do.
You do look like Santa.
I do. I have my Santa hat on.
I mean, you're frozen, but you look like Santa.
Oh, okay. So I'm frozen to you. So I have the Santa hat on. So I am rocking that. Don't have the normal backgrounds that I have. That is not my house in the back. That's not my piano in the background. It's not my fireplace. I used to live in a house that had a fireplace like that, but no more. So in any event, you can check that stuff out. Ricky Henderson passed away over the weekend. That was a stunner to hear that. I didn't know that he was sick. So apparently he had he had pneumonia is what they said, that he died of pneumonia. That's kind of an all-encompassing thing. You know, Joe, when you think of the guy dying of pneumonia, you think of COVID, right? You think of a lung issue. Did he have COVID and it became pneumonia? But Ricky Henderson was a great player that would have been a Hall of Famer even if you didn't include all the steals and the fact that he stole more bases than anybody else ever did. I think he should have been a Hall of Famer just for speaking of himself in the third person all the time. I mean, that was one of the tremendous things about Ricky. Ricky is now the all-time leader in stolen bases. It was just great to have that guy talking about himself in the third person. I thought it was tremendous. But Ricky Henderson, an all-time great passing away at age 65. That's way too young to be dying.
And think about what he would be doing right now if he was we take Ricky Henderson from the 80s and 90s and we put him into today's baseball with today's stolen base rules. Man could have 200 stolen bases easy.
Yeah. Well, of course, he would be 64 years old, though.
Okay, so he probably could have still stolen 200 bases still at 64 before
Maybe
passing
180.
away. Yeah. You know, it was kind of like that. It's kind of like that that interview that they did with the Chicago Bulls when Golden State was going and they had won 63. They're like, well, how do you guys think that your team from 97 would fare against them? I was like, we beat them by 2 or 3. And they said, that's it? Yeah. And he's like, well, you know, we're all in our 60s right now, so it'd be a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Exactly.
Same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. I used to say that about Jim Brown. I asked Jim Brown, how many yards would you gain if you were rushing in today's game, 16 games, narrow hash marks, synthetic turf, not muddy fields and things like that? How many yards do you think you go for? He said about 1,200. And they're like, 1,200? That's all you had rushed for 1,800 yards in a 14-game season in the mud. Yeah, but I'm 60 years old. That's a good line. Speaking of old guys, Ichiro Suzuki. A lot of talk about Ichiro Suzuki. He, of course, is on the ballot for the first time. A certain first ballot Hall of Famer. There's only been one unanimous Hall of Famer in the history of baseball, and that was Mariano Rivera. It's stupid that Cal Ripken Jr. or that Mickey Mantle or that Hank Aaron or that Babe Ruth or that Ted Williams, none of those guys were ever a unanimous selection to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Unanimous. None of them. Somebody would always leave a guy up. Well, you can't, nobody else has gone in first ballot. I can't put Willie Mays in first ballot because I didn't put Hank Aaron in first ballot. I didn't put Mickey Mantle in first ballot. I didn't put Ted Williams in first ballot. I couldn't put it. And then finally, as some of these old-time writers died off, all of a sudden, Mariano Rivera, a reliever, which is only like 3 of, I think, in all of Major League Baseball and all of the Baseball Hall of Fame, a reliever of all people, ends up being the first unanimous. One person left Derek Jeter off of their Hall of Fame ballot. One person said that Derek Jeter wasn't a Hall of Famer. Would have voted for him probably the second time. And by the way, you don't have to vote the guy one. You just have to put him on your ballot. You can put as many as 10 names on the ballot. And all you got to do is put him on the ballot. One person, when Derek Jeter came up a couple of years ago, one person left Derek Jeter completely off the ballot. And so he wasn't unanimous either. Ken Griffey Jr. 3 people left Ken Griffey Jr. off their ballot when Ken Griffey Jr. was up for the Hall of Fame. So now Ichiro comes up. Is Ichiro a unanimous Hall of Famer? Keep in mind, he doesn't come over from Japan until he's like 29 years old. I may have just made that up. But I think he was like 28, 29 years old when he came over. If you add his hits, he had 3,000 hits in Major League Baseball after he had already had 1,500 hits in Japan. If you were to add all of his hits together from Japan, and I get Japan's 4A baseball. It's not AAA, but it's like quad A baseball. It's not Major League Baseball. But if you were to add his hits in from Japan with his hits in Major League Baseball, he's the all-time hit king, not Pete Rose. It would be him. Now, it's unfair. You can't do that. You can't just add those together. You can't do that. Joe, I think he was 28 or 29 when he came over.
Oh, no, he is 100%. Again, if you've only had one person that's unanimous, Ichiro should be the second. I mean, that man chose in Major League Baseball to not be a home run hitter when he could have been. He was like, there are numerous stories from his teammates saying, yeah, go to batting practice and you watch Ichiro rake with home runs.
Well, you remember what his nickname was when he came over?
No.
Godzilla.
Oh, no.
That's what his nickname was. Godzilla. That's what he was. And
I thought that was Matsui.
Because he could do that. No. Wait a minute. Maybe you're right.
Yeah, I thought
Matsui Godzilla?
Yeah, I thought Matsui was Godzilla.
Are you sure? Matt, you might be right. You might be right.
But no, but either way, like, because what Ichiro did, for the Oryx Blue Wave is who he played for in Japan. Like, he is still like a national ambassador. Like, if the MPB did like Major League Baseball and had a player as their model for their logo, he would be it.
Yeah.
Like that is who it is. He should be a Hall of Famer. Obviously, he's already won in Japan. He should be one in Major League Baseball as well. And it should be a no doubt 100% get it, because that man revolutionized how people looked at Japanese baseball players, as well as how well he played in the outfield and contact hitting at a time and period where it was steroids. He was choosing to hit 350.
Just a tremendous player. It'll be interesting to see if you don't put Ichiro on your ballot, you should lose your right to vote.
But
if
I
you
mean,
don't put him on the ballot anywhere in the top
needs that vote.
10 slots.
I mean,
No.
they need that vote to stay on. Come on.
Yeah.
He's going to get his.
No, you can't do it.
No.
You can't stand it. The reason they did, the ones that didn't vote, all those other great, like Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, it's stupid. 3 people left Ken Griffey. It was because nobody else had been a unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer. So these guys with these pompous asses that were voting as baseball writers take it upon themselves to be the bearer of history. Well, Hank Aaron wasn't unanimous, so how can Ken Griffey Jr. be unanimous? That's the way they thought. It was ridiculous. All right, let's grab a break. By the way, did you know, Joe, I don't know if you knew this or not, it's the second headline on ESPN.com. This is a pet peeve of mine. It's the number 2 headline on ESPN.com. Wings hire USC assistant Koklanis as coach. Do you know who they're talking about?
Yeah, Koklanis.
Wings hire Koklanis. Who are the Wings? Wings hire USC assistant Koklanis as coach. Do you have any idea who the Wings are that hired USC assistant Koklanis as coach?
Again, what's sad is my first thought would be Red Wings. Like, that's the first thought that I would have.
Well, what other Wings are there? You know what I mean? I'm like, Wings hire who? I don't understand. Who's the USC assistant that the Wings are? The Wings are the Dallas Wings of the WNBA, and this Koklanis person is an assistant women's basketball coach at USC. And it's the number 2 story at ESPN.com. It tells you exactly all you need to know. That's all you need to know right there. Here's the number 4 story. Liberty's Ionesco joins unrivaled 3-on-3 league. What the hell is the unrivaled 3-on-3 league? And who is Ionesco? Is it from the New York Liberty? So some chick from the WNBA joined a 3-on-3 women's basketball league. And it's the number 5 story on ESPN.com. Ahead of Vols Auburn, still atop AP Top 25, featuring 10 SEC teams. Yeah, that's not a big story. Tennessee, Auburn, Alabama 5, Florida 6, Kentucky 10. No, that's not a big story. 5 SEC teams in the top 10. That's nothing. Are you kidding me? Didn't you hear the Dallas Wings hired an assistant coach from USC women's basketball to be their head coach? Joe, that's a much bigger story.
We can ask Thom Luginbill about it.
Yeah. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back with Thom Luginbill next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
Thom Luginbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Ho, ho, ho! Bob Baumhauer here. Need a stocking stuffer for this Christmas? We've got you covered at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Surprise everyone in the house this year as they empty their Christmas stockings to find our popular gift cards. Now, through December 24th, you'll receive a $5 bonus card with every $25 gift card purchase. So put a Christmas smile on everyone's face with these great stocking stuffers. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food. Merry Christmas!
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
Big Zone Deals, Big Zone Deals, get your Big Zone Deals. I may not be a great singer, but I am great at finding a deal. And I just came across the Motherload. Just log on zonedeals.bigdealsmedia.net and you can stuff those stockings with $50 gift certificates for half price at great restaurants like Sea Salt Urban Oyster Bar, Full Moon Barbecue, Bubby's Diner, Coralejos Mexican Grill, Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Lawler's Barbecue, Bigfoot's Little Donuts, Apple Lane Farms in Decatur, and Metro Diner. And how about half price certificates for the kids at Flow Trampoline Park or the ultimate virtual reality experience at Divergence Huntsville? Got a golfer on your list? Check out half-price deals at Gunner's Landing and Cherokee Ridge. Black Friday deals don't hold a candle to Big Zone deals, but these are limited, and when they're gone, they're gone. Shop now and save. Go to zonedeals.bigdealsmedia.net. Fill those stockings without emptying your wallet. zonedeals.bigdealsmedia.net.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Segment of the show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford and the service department at Woody Anderson Ford. They can take care of all your routine maintenance, and if you have a bigger problem, their expert service technicians are going to quickly diagnose it and use state-of-the-art tools to get it resolved. They can take care of all kinds of preventive maintenance issues, things on belts and hoses and fluids. But they do bigger stuff: air conditioner, brake work, tranny work. They got a great service or a great body shop down there as well. The whole service department is tremendous. Check out Woody Anderson Ford and their mobile service as well. During the holidays, you might want to utilize that. So you can check that out as well. It's Woody Anderson Ford. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com to learn more about Woody Anderson Ford. They have brought us Thom Luginbill for 5 or 6 years now, I guess. Luke's joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Thom, welcome in. Merry Christmas. How are you?
Merry Christmas to you, man. I am doing fantastic. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's pinpoint thin, but I can see it.
Yeah, you can see it. That's for sure. You also got to see SMU go down in flames to Penn State, and you know, I got to be honest with you. I'm with your colleague Kirk Herbstreit on this one here. You were predicting it. We saw it coming. The Tennessee Ohio State deal was the only thing that was a surprise. Not that Ohio State won, but in the matter of which they dispatched of Tennessee. And of course, all the SEC haters have come out of the woodwork saying, "See, SEC is overrated because of that one game. Is good. We're going to make that determination." But we saw this coming with Indiana, SMU, even Clemson to a certain extent. I mean, it wasn't a huge surprise, was it?
No, I don't think it was a significant surprise. But I'll say this, and people have a very, very short memory about the college football playoff. And I don't know what people thought was going to happen when you went from 4 teams to 12 teams, meaning the more teams you put in, the worse teams you put in, right? If you look at the 4-team playoff for 10 years, go look at the scores of those semifinal games. The vast majority of them were flat blowouts, right? And we're talking Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Alabama, you name it. But everybody's acting like, oh, well, this is miserable. These were blowouts. Well, first of all, if they didn't belong, none of them belong, right? Because they all did it. So that's number one. But number two, we've got to realize that if you're going to sit there and take a team that you don't think can actually win a national championship, but we got to have 12 teams in it, what do you think is going to happen when they play a team that actually could win the national championship? You're going to get a blowout. We got it with 4 teams. What did you think was going to happen with 12?
Well, wasn't that the argument all along about deserving versus best? I mean, that was when it was a 4-team playoff. Yeah. We had that same argument, deserving versus best. And in many of those years with the 4-team playoff, if you'd just taken the top 2 teams from the Big Ten and the SEC, or in some cases maybe even 3 from the SEC and 1 from the Big Ten, that was what you were going to get. Now, Clemson was a thing for a number of years there. Clemson was legit, and they won a couple of national championships, and they deserved it, and also were in the best category. But until they figure out a way not to do that, and look, we're going to have a scenario. I laid it out in the first hour. There's going to be either 14-3 Minnesota Viking or 14-3 Detroit Lion is going to play on the road at Tampa Bay or Atlanta, which are going to have 7 or 8 losses. That's just the way playoffs work sometimes. So I don't know if there is a perfect way to determine this.
Well, there's not, and not all schedules are created equal. We went away from divisions, so now schedules are skewed one way or the other, depending on the year and where things fall. Really, I think one of the things that you're going to have to take a close look at is trying to create some objective criteria that has to be adhered to. Because the more subjectivity that's involved, obviously, nobody has a crystal ball. And by the way, the SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC, every one of them is undefeated in hypothetical games. Every one of them. So don't give me the old, we would have done this versus this, and we would have done this versus that. You don't know that. Nobody has a crystal ball. Like I said, when did people think that Notre Dame and Oklahoma or Oklahoma and Clemson were going to go into a playoff and one of those teams was going to win by 30? No, but it happened, and it happened a lot. And so, the whole, they didn't belong. Well, I'll say one thing about that, and that is don't lose to teams you're not supposed to lose to.
Right.
If like for example, with Ole Miss, okay, you're a 3-loss team. All right, Miami is out there, South Carolina's out there. You lost to 4-8 Kentucky at home. Stop. Stop. If you want to be considered in that realm, then you can't do that. You can't be Alabama, no matter how good Alabama has been, and go on the road against a below-average football team in Oklahoma and get beat by 3 touchdowns. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, I think the threshold is going to be 2 wins or 2 losses or less is going to put you squarely in the mix every single year. But if you want to flirt around with 3 losses, then, you might find yourself on the outside looking in.
Yeah, the Vandy loss is more forgivable than the Oklahoma loss for Alabama because of the nature of the loss. It wasn't like you went in there and got up. It feels like Oklahoma just, which pounded a mud hole in them. The cases that we often make in the SEC is that it's the cumulative effect. For example, for Alabama, let's say, that Vandy game, that fell in the middle of a Georgia, Vandy, South Carolina, Tennessee, Missouri stretch. That's who they were playing. Yeah. While SMU and the Indianas of the world and even Clemson, were muddling through playing 1 or 2 top 30 teams all season long. That's what they were doing, one after the other, after the other, after the other. And sure enough, at some point in time, you're gonna slip up, and maybe that's the first learning thing for Kalen DeBoer and his staff, because those were all road losses. All 3 of those losses were road losses. So maybe they learned something about going on the road in the SEC.
Well, I think you also got to realize that if you want to compete for a championship, you're going to have to win one-possession games, and you're going to have to win on the road in every conference.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I mean, that's just the nature of the sport. And listen, is there a magic wand that can be waved here? No. And listen, this is what's going to happen this coming week. I've got the Fiesta Bowl. So I'll be out in Phoenix, and you watch. If Penn State goes and blasts Boise, Now we're going to hear, well, why did we put a group of 5 team in? The group of 5 schedule is awful. They didn't belong in the deal. So, like, anybody that loses didn't belong, right? I mean, but you're going to sit there and you say that, and if Tennessee's supposed to be so good, then you don't go get absolutely waxed by Ohio State, who I think is really good. Don't get me wrong. In fact, if that's the version of Ohio State we're going to see, I think they could win the national championship. Yeah. But, like, what do you can't go out and play like that. And I don't care what conference you're from. And SMU is the same way. You go out on the road at Penn State, it's 22 degrees, they've got a whiteout, and you decide to turn the ball over 3 times, 2 pick-sixes in the first half. Did you know that Penn State did not even score an offensive point until less than 5 minutes to go in the second quarter?
Yeah.
Penn State couldn't move the ball a lick on offense. It was all SMU screwing it up. So, again, teams that don't screw it up have advantages. I will say this. I love the home field advantage of the first-round playoff. I thought it was awesome. I thought there was just unbelievable energy. There was just a different tone to it. But it was also very, very clear that if you owned one of those home spots, that was a distinct advantage for every single one of those teams.
It seemed, though, in some of the games, I mean, Indiana had a pretty good contingent at Notre Dame, and certainly at the Horseshoe. How about at the Horseshoe? I mean, you know, I couldn't believe how much orange was in there. Some people said 30,000. Some people said maybe 40,000 Tennessee fans, and they couldn't get out of there fast enough because of, to play at Tennessee. But back to the game that you were on, I was stunned by the play of Kevin Jennings. I thought he was.
Me too.
I thought he was a little bit better than that. I mean, that was just, because they weren't just like great defensive plays. He was literally throwing the ball right to him. I mean, it was just, those were some of the easiest interceptions going. I've
seen them 5 times now. I've never, ever, ever seen him play. In fact, Greg McElroy and I were talking about Curtis Rourke at Indiana because I've had several Curtis Rourke games when he was at Ohio. I'm a big fan of his. I think he's really good. He goes out and does the exact same thing. Like, it was unbelievable. I had not seen him do that before. And again, that's why when you get into this type of tournament, and it's all the stakes are as high as they can possibly be, if you have bad quarterback play, you're going down because you can't sustain it. And I don't care who the team is. If you go out and you lay an egg at quarterback, you ain't beating good teams.
Yeah. Thom Luginbill with us here. So what did it? We talked about when the bracket first came out that it looked like, man, Penn State's got a pretty good little path to the Final Four. Maybe even Texas as well. But now that it's actually in play, it seems even more drastic when we look at Penn State being a 10.5-point favorite over Boise State, beating an undermanned SMU team, pulling away. I mean, literally, look, all 4 of these games, and 3 of them for sure, I mean, they dumped the bench. I mean, the home teams were dumping the bench in the fourth quarter. I mean, this was like a cupcake game. I mean, they all dumped the bench. You say Arch Manning played too, but he plays, he kind of plays intermittently anyway. But all 4 backup quarterbacks played. All 4 teams dumped the bench at some point in time in the fourth quarter of their games. It was amazing. But when you look at Penn State, the easy win over SMU, 10.5-point favorite over Boise, it's like, let's just send them to the Orange Bowl. And a little bit of the same thing with Texas. She's like, what the hell did Ohio State and Oregon do, to have to deserve this, or Notre Dame and Georgia? Here's Georgia, the number 2 seed, and Oregon, the number 1 seed. And it feels like they've got really tough games to get to the Final Four, while Penn State and Texas could just kind of lollygag their way in.
Yeah, listen, you're right. It's almost like the Georgia-Notre Dame is a national championship game, and Oregon-Ohio State's a national championship game. It kind of felt like that when Texas played Georgia in the SEC championship game. It felt like the national championship. The one thing I'd be worried about is, what does Penn State do in these situations? They usually fail to answer the toll, right? And now they're going to go up against the group of 5 team that nobody wants to play. It's no different than getting that draw when there was the New Year's Six bowl games. Remember that? And it was UCF and Auburn one year. UCF wins, of course. It's Houston and Florida State. Houston wins. Like, nobody wants to play the game. The group of 5 teams got everything to gain and nothing to lose. And that should worry Penn State fans, because you got to be mature enough to handle that. I will say this. Penn State defensively, they're the one team that could probably line up that Boise has played all year long, that could line up and basically put 8 or 9 in the box and say, you know what, quarterback? You may beat us today, but it ain't going to be number 2. And Most of the
number
people
two,
who follow college football could not tell you the name of Boise State's quarterback.
and look, and number 2 could have 175 yards, and they could lose that game by 3 touchdowns. I mean, he could have 175 yards, and they can have 200 total for the game. I mean, it's almost like, all right, he's going to get his to a certain extent, but is there anybody else on your team that can do anything? And I think that's what Penn State is going to look at. And I don't think that monkey is necessarily off the back of James Franklin yet. You know, like you said, I mean, it was deceptive because SMU kept throwing them touchdown passes early in that game. I don't think it gets off his back with this one either. I mean, if they win here, they are going to have to beat Notre Dame or Georgia to get to the national championship for somebody to say, you know what? James Franklin can win these big games. You know, it's kind of a shame because these are playoff games, but he can go 2-0 in the playoffs and nobody is still looking at him, you know, without a little stink eye.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, if they play offensively like they played on Saturday, they're not going to win many games because they didn't play very good on offense. I mean, SMU played really good on defense until they finally just ran out of gas because the offense was just flat out screwing it up. And then obviously the run game for Penn State got going in the second half and you just start wearing bigger, faster, stronger. It starts to take its toll on SMU. But offensively, they were not in sync and Drew Aller was not in rhythm. He's going to have to be much better in this next round if they hope to get beyond it.
Is Gunnar Stockton good enough to lead Georgia at least over Notre Dame, if not all the way to the national championship game?
Depends on how he handles the moment. You know, it's one thing coming off the bench, and it's an entirely different thing to have to prepare for 2 weeks, and now you're the guy, and everybody knows it, and you're going to get – because I think Notre Dame could win the national championship. That team is really good, and they have 3 things that travel. They don't beat themselves, they stop the run, and they can run the football at will. So if I'm Notre Dame, I'm really going to test Gunnar Stockton early. I'm going to come after him. I want to change the picture post-snap, see if we can bait him into a bad throw, utilize his inexperience against him. Where I think that they have an advantage, they being Georgia, is they've got a running threat at quarterback now. And they did not have that before. And when you consider Georgia hasn't run the football exceptionally well this year overall, to me, that run threat of the quarterback could end up being an X factor in the game.
Well, speaking of run threat, Riley Leonard, I mean, you know, this is a kid that's 6'4", 216 pounds. He is not getting a heck of a lot of love. I mean, he's being talked about like he's a, you know, 3rd or 4th round type draft pick in the NFL. Nobody really kind of looks at him as much, but I know he struggled early on in the season, but
not now.
You know, he looks like a championship quarterback right now too, doesn't he?
I had him twice. Last year, the opener where they beat Clemson, and later on in the season, he's really good and he's starting to come into his own. And I thought on Friday night he played his best game, particularly when it came to navigating the pocket and creating a second chance to throw the ball. I mean, we know he can run, we know he's a great athlete, but he kept plays alive for them on offense, and he just keeps getting better and better and better. And you're right. Listen. If Will Howard plays the way that he played the other night, because we haven't seen that in his entire career, then Ohio State's obviously a real problem because, you know, maybe player per player, they might have the best roster in college football right now. You got the steadiness of Dylan Gabriel, who has seen everything and has played at such a high standard, so you figure they're in great shape at quarterback. I'm very interested to see what Sam Leavitt at Arizona State does. Because when I watched him in the Big 12 championship game, I was like, holy smokes, no wonder this team just won the Big 12. That guy's a dude. Now, he ain't played very much, but you talk about one of the most undervalued pickups in the portal of last cycle. Holy smokes, that guy's pretty good.
And that's the big, just 2 touchdowns. I mean, is there, I mean, that still, look, Arizona State's one of the great stories in college football this year. There's no doubt about it. But that would be a huge story if they were to dump Texas. Huge. I mean, nobody sees that happening, right?
I don't think so. And I, you know what? If you would have told me the game was being played in the first round and not now, I would have maybe had a different answer because Arizona State was so scorching hot that I bet if you asked Kenny Dillingham if you'd rather have a bye or just play right away, he'd probably tell you he wanted to play right away because you just roll it over into the next week. Now it's hard to carry that over and sustain it, right?
Yeah.
Because they were just playing so good. So we'll see what they can come up with. Obviously, they can run the football. The quarterback's dynamic. I think the overall depth of Texas in their roster and their 2s and their 3s and their 4s are what's going to eventually just overwhelm ASU because ASU doesn't have any depth.
And we talked about Will Howard. If he's playing like that, they're a problem. Yeah, they're also a 2.5-point favorite over the Big Ten champion that beat them, albeit by a point early in the season. So Oregon's the number 1 overall seed. Ohio State's the 8. Ohio State's the favorite at the Rose Bowl. Give me. What do you think happens? Give me in the end.
Listen, I feel like I don't know which Ohio State team's going to show up. I don't trust them, right? I mean, how can you go out and play the way that even when they beat Penn State, it was an ugly win offensively. They've been up and down. They were atrocious against Michigan, and then they come out and look like that at home, and you could tell they were dialed in. And now you go to a neutral site. That's probably why the line has moved a little bit. It's not an option like it was previously. But they'll beat Oregon if they play like that. I think they will, but I don't know if I can trust that they will. And that's the thing that I'm looking forward to seeing from Ryan Day and his coaching staff is how do you get that team to do that again? Because they have not done that in back-to-back weeks the entire year long.
Well, those 2 games are going to be something. That Oregon, Ohio State game, and, of course, the Notre Dame, Georgia game. You will be on the sidelines for Penn State, Boise State. You don't have to take all that warm weather stuff that you had to take, or cold weather stuff that you had to take to stand on the sidelines at Penn State.
Bro, that was so bad. I'm not kidding around. That's one of the worst I've ever been in.
You know, and I know you were working when it went down. When this comedian that I had never even heard of, Shane Gillis, took that little shot. Oh my gosh! And Saban.
Did you see how defensive Coach got?
Oh man, it was, you know, you got to be honest. It was pretty classic. He you know,
called him a cheater earlier.
I was just joking around. I don't think the SEC paid players ever.
Period.
I'm joking. Is this not a fun show?
No.
Serious show?
Serious football.
Like Alabama Jones is very serious.
No, I'm not serious.
Get the whip, Indy.
I do believe in integrity. I always try to run the program that way. So successful in life.
I agree.
We make more money in the NFL than any other school. 61 players in the league. That was how we cheated. We developed players.
That was classic. He has been amazing, hasn't he, for TV? I mean, we kind of expected that.
Fantastic on TV. He is fantastic.
And everybody wants to give McAfee credit for the fact that the ratings were the highest ever for game day. I think it's that guy. I'll be honest with you. I think that guy has as much to do with it. I know McAfee, they play off of each other and all that kind of stuff. But I think Saban being inserted into game day is one of the reasons why that show had its highest numbers ever. I mean, it was just absolutely incredible. And he was just really, really good all year long.
And with him, you get back to talking about football, and you get back to breaking down teams, and you get back to breaking down plays. And I think that's what his inclusion has done more than anything else.
By the way, I don't mean for you to bite the hand that feeds, but I promised the guys that I would ask. I'm going to throw it out there with you, see if you know anything about this headline. This is the number 2 headline at ESPN.com. Number 2 headline at ESPN.com. Wings hire USC assistant Conkelis as coach. Do you know who the hell the Wings are, or who the USC assistant Conkelis is that they hired?
Is it in the sport of football? I don't know.
It's the WNBA team in Dallas, the Dallas Wings, and they hired the assistant coach from the USC women's basketball team. And it's the number 2 story on ESPN.com. You're kidding me. We got the NFL coming down to 2 weeks to go. We got the college football playoffs. That's the number 2 story at ESPN.com. A WNBA story about an assistant coach from USC being hired as the head coach of the Dallas Wings, who I didn't even know existed. So there you go.
I didn't know they existed either. So thanks for enlightening me today.
Now you know what the deal is there. Yeah, Notre Dame losing its lineman there, the Mills kid. That's below.
That's a big loss.
No, that's not as big as the Dallas Wings hiring a USC assistant women's coach. It's not that big. I mean, come on. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you, as always. Tremendous stuff. Merry Christmas, and we'll look forward to chatting again and see when we could snag in. Maybe we're going to do one more show before New Year's Day. We'll do a show next Monday, this Monday and next Monday. And so maybe if there's some way for me to get you, I can get you before we get to the big Final Four playoff games.
We'll figure it out.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, see ya. Bye.
All right, thanks. A big story right there. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back. We are open lines the rest of the way. If you want to jump on board, you can do it. 256-576-4977. It's the Thom Abraham Show. Back with more in a moment.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa signature card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
First round of the college football playoff, Notre Dame beat Indiana 27-17. Texas over Clemson 38-24. Penn State blew out SMU 38-10. Ohio State with a big 42-17 victory over Tennessee. Quarterfinal action on New Year's Eve, Penn State by 10.5 against Boise State. Number 1 Oregon's a 2.5-point favorite against Ohio State. Texas by 14 against Arizona State. Georgia's a 1.5 favorite against Notre Dame. The semifinal January 9th and 10th. The national championship January the 20th. Monday Night Football, the Packers still looking to lock in a playoff berth. 14.5-point favorites at home tonight against the Saints. Over under 42.5. New Orleans plus 700. I'm Chuck Sanders on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, Invisicook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Spring Showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash, and the freezer's free, and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
Electric cars are coming faster than you think, and that's why we're bringing SEMA Connect to Alabama.
Our team educates you and helps provide a long-term plan for your business. Where to put them, how to get them there, how to pay for them, tax incentives, service, and monitoring. We take care of everything.
Doing the right thing means bringing EV car chargers to Alabama. Let us help you with your EV charging plan.
Looking for your next adventure to be out of this world but don't have enough money to buy a spaceship and leave orbit? Well, look no further than Divergence VR theme park off of Governor's Drive Southwest in Huntsville, Alabama. Are zombies more your style? How about driving your favorite cars on the world's fastest track? Or maybe a gorilla game that has you climbing up tall trees to escape other gorillas? Wait, that's actually a thing? Huh. Would you look at that? For whatever adventure you can dream of, call 256-203-4128 to get your VR adventure started now.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. A clear and a cold night across the Tennessee Valley expected for this Monday night. We'll see low temperatures fall into the low 30s for the overnight. Heading into our Tuesday, temperatures warm into the upper 50s for the afternoon. A partly cloudy sky expected. Expect a few isolated showers in the forecast for Christmas Day. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Be sure and join us today from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Yeah, welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Segment of the show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, where thousands of area residents have received world-class care. from the Valley's most trusted and experienced group of orthopedic surgeons and medical specialists. It's TOC. If you have orthopedic problems or considering professional care, TOC is the only logical choice. Whether you have a work-related injury or got sidelined playing a sport you love, you need the best care, the best physicians, the best facility to get you back in the game, and I think you'll agree that that is the Orthopedic Center. Stay in the game with TOC. TOC bringing us all the great high school basketball action coming up from the Huntsville Classic later on this week, so we're really fired up about that. By the way, one bowl game today is in the books. It's the Myrtle Beach Bowl, Joe. I know that you were on this. You were probably watching, so you haven't been paying a lot of attention to the show because you've been watching the Myrtle Beach Bowl. If you play a bowl game and it's on your home, like Coastal Carolina was in this game at 6-6 against Texas El Paso. Oh, no, who was it? Texas San Antonio. Texas, the Roadrunners of Texas San Antonio, they were also 6-6, 2 6-6 teams playing. And Coastal Carolina, it was played at their home stadium. Are you really in a bowl game if you don't have to go anywhere to go to the bowl game? Like if you just roll out of your dorm room and you go down to the stadium and you're playing in a bowl game, is that the same as being actually in a bowl game? Not sure.
I've been paying attention. As a matter of fact, we have about 8 monitors around the studios and in the control room. Had all 8 of them on that, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Yep. All 8 of them on that. Yep.
And if you had Coastal plus 30, you won your bet because they lost by 29, 44 or 30. What's the 39? 44-15. They got whacked 44-15 in that game. And get this, the San Antonio team, the Texas San Antonio team, they intercepted a pass and the guys went over. It's the Myrtle Beach Bowl. So there was a little display that was set up that was maybe 10 feet by 10 feet that had sand in it and beach chairs, because it's the Myrtle Beach Bowl and it had a little beach area. So the guys intercepted a pass. They ran over to the beach, jumped on the beach and did snow angels in the sand, and they got penalized. By the officials threw a flag on them. It's a freaking bowl game between 2 6-6 teams. Can the kids play in the sand?
You put some respect on the Myrtle Beach Bowl name, okay? Like, don't get upset. You got to have some respect. That is a tradition-rich bowl that nobody knows about.
It's one thing to eat a Pop-Tart that's the size of Connecticut. It's another thing, though, to go play in the sand when you have an interception. You're not allowed to do that. Now, let me get Paulie in here. Paulie, what's going on?
Well, I was surprised the speed that all of a sudden Ohio State had against Tennessee. I've never seen a Big Ten team run that fast or have position players that fast.
Yeah.
What did they have? They had high tests in the Gatorade, and they gave Valiums to Tennessee in their Gatorade because it was 2 different teams. But
it was amazing. It was pretty amazing the way they dispatched of them, and I thought it was really more on the lines. I thought it was about the offensive and defensive lines. I thought they handled Tennessee's defensive line, and they were able to get after Tennessee's quarterback.
But what about the secondary? All of a sudden, they couldn't keep up with these guys. They were throwing. I mean, you got to give him credit. He put the ball right there. The guy made 2 fantastic catches. But I'm like, is there someone hurt in the secondary that they're picking on? Because it seems like the whole team had no speed all of a sudden.
Yeah, but Ohio State, they're loaded at wide receiver. They're always loaded with talent. That's why everybody's on Ryan Day's jock about the fact that he hasn't won, a championship yet, because they and he can't beat Michigan now. He's had great wide receivers, and that freshman wide receiver he's got is very, very good. I mean, he's right there with Ryan Williams, 2 best freshman receivers in the country.
Well, once again, we're going to see what happens now with the spread, and we'll see what happens with Notre Dame having to go on the road. And I agree with the fella that you have on that, yes, the home field advantage in the first round of these playoffs is huge.
Yeah, it was.
Definitely huge. And you'll see next year when that South team, either LSU or Alabama or Texas Tech, has to go up to Michigan or has to go up to Ohio State or has to go up to Wisconsin, and that blizzard is coming through. Yeah. It's going to be very, very interesting.
Maybe it would be the other way around. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll be hosting. Well, that's what they need to be doing. They need to be hosting. It's a travesty that only the Texas game was played in the South. But that's what happens when you play real tough schedules. You're going to lose a couple of games, and then you don't get the host.
We'll see the residue again. We'll see what happens. I'm telling you, Notre Dame needs to join a conference. They just need to join one. They just got to
Yeah.
join because you're going to see this every time. You know.
I'm pulling for Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. And then how about them Dolphins, huh?
Yeah,
Still
there you
alive.
go. Still alive at 7
Hold
and
on.
8.
When I get off the phone, I have to call Bezizzlebub and get the BOGO on the Sell My Soul, buy one get one. So
there you go.
Make sure for 2 wins they get into the playoffs. I gotta get on that and cash it in.
One more win by Denver, and they're eliminated. So we'll see Denver or Los Angeles really with the Chargers.
Well, Denver lost, didn't they? Didn't they just lose?
Yeah, but I mean, Denver's still got a 2-game lead, on Miami.
Yeah.
So
Well,
if they get 1 win out of the last 2, they're in. So, all right, man.
Yeah, I know.
Appreciate you.
Later.
Good job by you. All right. Come back. Final segment's next. Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? My phone rings in my office.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're the ones who take your call.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, Invisicook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Springs showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash, and the freezer's free, and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
Lots of wise and well-informed car buyers wait all year long for this time of year because they know year-end deals are worth the wait. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. We've got 700 Fords for you to choose from. And if you've had your eye on a 24 F-150, Explorer, Expedition, or Escape, listen up. Come and see us at Woody Anderson Ford today, and you'll drive home with no payments for 90 days, plus get financing as low as 1.9% for 60 months and $1,000 in bonus cash. This is good, and it bears repeating. Come get your best year-end deal on a 24 F-150, Explorer, Expedition, or Escape, and you'll keep your cash for the holidays and make no payments for 90 days. You'll also get financing as low as 1.9% for 60 months. Plus, we're going to throw in $1,000 holiday bonus cash. The year-end is here, and we've got the deals that make it worth the wait. With your good credit, these offers end December 31st, only at Woody Anderson Ford. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
Hold your block until the whistle blows.
From SEC Media Days to the National Championship game.
This was a great team win.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Our only show this week. We're trying to sprinkle in a little bit of Christmas music for you. We've been sampling a few things, including this classic.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my paisan gave to me
12 gobs of hair gel. Would you watch the hair? 11 Sinatra CDs. 10 new hand gestures. 9 balls are grabbing. 8 how you doing? 7 Piazza jerseys. 6 Sergio bikinis. 5 pinky rings. How you like me now? 4 fresh cannolis. All tree gavadas. 2 guinea teas. And a magazine. Yeah, that's for you. God bless.
God bless. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. God bless. There we go. If that's not playing in your house, I don't know what is. Like when I ask Alexa, Alexa, play Christmas music. It pops right in. Pops right in. But Joe's listening to rap Christmas music, which I didn't even know existed.
I didn't either till about a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, you know what? I want to find something that's not from 1954. And so I just started kind of looking, and next thing you know, I found some.
But you know, there's a reason why they call them classics. The classics. Because they're classics. That's something to warm me up, Joe, here on this cold winter day. How about the win total for the Atlanta Braves for this upcoming season? 94.5. How about that? 94.5. Let me tell you something. If the Braves win 95 games, that's a very successful season.
Yeah, they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now, that's also, they're saying 94.5 means that they're banking on this team actually staying healthy, which has not really happened for the past couple of years.
Joe, that's the second highest in all of baseball.
Yeah.
Only the Dodgers is higher. Dodgers 103.5. I'd take the under. It's just 100 wins is tough these days. And it seems like more and more that there's load management that goes on in baseball. But 100 and 103.5 is a lot. I'd take the under there. Yankees are at 93.5. That's the third highest of the totals. Won't be long. Won't be long. We'll be talking about spring training, and that just warms you up.
Valentine's Day. It's always on Valentine's Day.
You start thinking about when the pitchers and catchers.
Yeah, I celebrate pitchers and catchers on that day. Some people celebrate other things, but I celebrate pitchers and catchers normally.
Pitchers and catchers, yeah. And the funny thing is, the pitchers and catchers are working out like year round. Everybody, hey, pitchers and catchers reported. Yeah.
And they also normally report like February 1 anyway, or they were already down there through the entire off season because that's where they live, something like that. But still, it's pitchers and catchers report.
So I got my son, who's the biggest Yankee fan of my sons. I bought him for Christmas. I bought him 2 tickets. He and his girlfriend are both huge Yankee fans. So I bought them 2 tickets to a Yankees-Twins spring training game in late February, right? This is the first week of spring training. First row, right field. I'm talking about right field, not a box seat. Right field, Joe. Right field, first row, so they're right behind Aaron Judge, assuming that he plays, okay? $86 a ticket. It's spring training. $86 a ticket. Wow. Joe, Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Merry Christmas, sir.
And all the listeners, Merry Christmas. Be safe out there. We'll talk to you a week from Monday. Have a great day, everybody.